Avyakto ऽyamacintyo avikāryo ऽymucyate Tasmād evaṁ viditvainaṁ nānuśocitum arhasi. In this verse, Lord Krishna explains that the soul is beyond our senses. It cannot be seen, fully understood or changed. Since the soul is eternal and unaltered by physical events, there is no need to grieve over the body's temporary changes. This verse teaches us to accept that the soul is beyond physical perception and remains constant despite any changes. By understanding this, we can find peace and avoid unnecessary sorrow when facing the inevitable changes of life. Atha cainaṁ nitya-jātaṁ nityaṁ va manyase mṛtam Tathāpi tvaṁ mahā-bāho naivaṁ śocitum arhasi. In this verse, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that even if he believes the soul is repeatedly born and dies, there is still no reason to grieve. The cycle of life and death is natural and inevitable. This verse teaches us that whether we view the soul as eternal or as constantly undergoing birth and death, mourning is unnecessary. Understanding the natural process of life and death helps us accept it with peace and avoid sorrow. जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर्ध्रुवै जन्म मृतस्य च तस्माद् अपरिहार्येऽर्थे न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि. In this verse, Lord Krishna explains that birth and death are natural and unavoidable parts of life. Everyone who is born will eventually die, and after death, the soul will be reborn. Since this cycle is inevitable, there is no reason to mourn. This verse teaches us to accept the natural cycle of life and death with understanding. By realizing that these events are part of the universal order, we can approach them with peace and avoid unnecessary sorrow. Avyaktādīni bhūtāni vyaktamadhyāni bhārata avyaktanidhanānyaiva tatra kā paridevana. In this verse, Lord Krishna explains that all living beings start in an unmanifested invisible state, become visible when they are born, and return to the unmanifested state after death. Since this is the natural cycle, there is no need to mourn. This verse teaches us that life is a temporary, visible phase in a much larger invisible cycle. Understanding this helps us accept the temporary nature of life and avoid unnecessary grief over things that are part of this natural process. Aścaryavat pashyati kaśchidēnam aścaryavat vadati tathaiva chānyah aścaryavat cainamanya śrunoti śrutvāpinam vedana caiva kaśchid. In this verse, Lord Krishna explains that the soul is a profound and mysterious concept that amazes those who perceive or hear about it. Despite its wonder, not everyone can fully understand or grasp the true nature of the soul. This verse teaches us that the soul is a deep and extraordinary reality that may be difficult to comprehend. It encourages us to approach the concept of the soul with wonder and humility, recognizing that its true nature may be beyond our full understanding. Dehi nityaṁ dehe sarvasya bharata tasmād sarvāni bhūtāni na tvaṁ śocitum arhasi. In this verse, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that the soul inside every living being is eternal and cannot be destroyed, even though the body may perish. Since the soul is everlasting, there is no need to grieve over the loss of physical bodies. This verse teaches us that our true essence, the soul, is indestructible. Understanding this helps us accept the natural process of life and death without unnecessary sorrow, knowing that the soul lives on. Swadharmam api chāvekshya na vikampitum arhasi dharmyadhi yuddhat shreyonyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. In this verse, Lord Krishna reminds Arjuna of his duty as a Kshatriya warrior. He tells Arjuna that it is his duty to fight in a just and righteous war, and nothing is more honorable for a warrior than fulfilling this duty. This verse teaches us the importance of following our duty, especially when it aligns with righteousness. It encourages us to stay strong and fulfill our responsibilities even when faced with difficult situations, knowing that doing so is the right path.
यदृच्छया चोपपन्नं स्वर्गद्वारमपावृतं सुखिनः क्षत्रियाः पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धमीदृशम्.
In this verse, Lord Krishna explains that for a warrior, a battle that is righteous and noble can be a rare opportunity to gain great rewards, such as reaching heaven. Such a battle is seen as a blessing. This verse teaches that facing challenges, especially those aligned with duty and righteousness, can lead to great spiritual rewards. It encourages embracing one's responsibilities with the understanding that they can lead to positive outcomes.
अथ चेत्त्वमिमं धर्म्यं सङ्ग्रामं च करिष्यसि ततः स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं च हित्वा पापमवाप्स्यसि.
In this verse, Lord Krishna warns Arjuna that if he does not fight in this righteous battle, he will abandon his duty and lose his honor. Moreover, he will incur sin for not fulfilling his responsibilities. This verse teaches the importance of fulfilling one's duties and responsibilities, especially when they are righteous and noble. It emphasizes that avoiding one's duty can lead to loss of honor and moral failure.
अकीर्तिं चापि भूतानि कथयिष्यन्ति ते व्ययाम् सम्भावितस्य चाकीर्तिर्मरणादतिरिच्यते.
In this verse, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that if he avoids his duty and refuses to fight, people will remember his cowardice forever. For someone who values honor, losing respect and facing disgrace is more painful than dying. This verse teaches us the significance of honor and reputation. It encourages us to fulfill our duties courageously, as avoiding them can lead to lasting dishonor, which can be more damaging than physical harm or death.
भयाद्रणादुपरतं मन्स्यन्ते त्वां महारथाः येषां च त्वं बहुमतो भूत्वा यास्यसि लाघवम्.
In this verse, Lord Krishna warns Arjuna that if he avoids the battle, other warriors who respect him will assume he acted out of fear. This will cause him to lose their respect and honor. This verse teaches us the importance of courage in fulfilling our duties. It reminds us that our actions are observed by others, and avoiding responsibility can lead to a loss of respect and reputation amongst those who value us.
अवाच्य वादांश्च बहून् वदिष्यन्ति तवाहिताः निन्दन्तः स्वसामर्थ्यं ततो दुःखतरन्नु किम्.
In this verse, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that if he avoids the battle, his enemies will insult him and question his strength and courage. The criticism and mockery from his enemies would cause him great pain. This verse teaches the value of standing strong in the face of challenges. It highlights that the pain of enduring insults and losing respect can be worse than facing the challenge itself, encouraging us to act with courage and determination.